Hello everybody, my name is Lance, also known as This Mind of Mine, and today I'm going to teach you how to build these Spider-Man Noir custom figures, as well as, I guess you can count this as a showcase. And there are, I believe, 18 figures here. We're about to find out. But if you do enjoy this, let me know by leaving a like on the video, and let me know if you want to see more customs in the future based off of the Marvel Universe or DC Universe, or just any other like comic book or maybe movie universe. And without further ado, let's get started. So here are the pieces required to build the Spider-Man Noir figure. You will need one pair of gray and black dual molded legs. These I got from the Jokerland set, but I don't know if they come in any other sets. So if you don't have it, I would just recommend putting a pair of dark bluish gray legs on it and it'll look fine. The torso I am using is the officer torso from the Star Wars battle packs, so that is a very cheap torso, and I have just replaced it with some dark bluish gray arms, which I just did off camera so that it wouldn't take me a bit to put them on because I have trouble putting those on. Then you'll need the Spider-Man head from the Molten Man set, and it just looks a lot like the Spider-Man Noir head. And then you'll need two black hands and then two revolvers. And it'll be just like how you build a normal figure, so just put the torso on, put the arms on, put the head on, put the hands on. And Brick Bros UK has a whole tutorial on how to build custom minifigs, so I would suggest you check that out. I may leave an iCard in the top right corner if you want to check it out, if I don't forget to. But there is my Spider-Man Noir custom, and overall I'm happy with this. Definitely looks like the comic book version, which is what I was going for, especially with the dual mold legs and the chest, because in the comics he wears a vest and this kind of ski mask with goggles, because that was his Uncle Ben's old suit during the First World War, and he uses guns actually in this universe, so that's why he has the dual pistols, and overall it's a pretty cool figure. Here are the parts required to build the Goblin Noir figure. You will need one tuxedo torso. I use this one because it is a very common one. You can get this off of Bricks and Pieces for about 10 cents. Then you'll just need a pair of regular black legs, no printing on it. You'll need this Widow's Peak hairpiece in dark brown, two dark green hands, and Krieger's head from the Chima line. You can do this with any of the crocodiles from the Chima line, but I just decided to use Krieger's because he has one eye that's white and one eye that's yellow, just like the Goblin in the Noir comics. And while I'm building this, I'll go over the history of the character. So in the Noir comics, the Goblin is the owner of the Freak Show, which is of course part of a circus, and after he does that, he becomes his own crime boss, and he always wears a tuxedo. Most of the time he does, at least. And he was called the Goblin because of his appearance, because he had really scaly skin, and one eye was white, one eye was yellow, and so that's why I went with Krieger's head for that. You can see the torso printing on him. And this is the Goblin. Here are the parts required for the Noir Vulture. You will need one Star Wars officer torso, one pair of black legs, no printing on it. You'll need Kylo Ren's little cape, and two of the light nougat hands, as well as the Vulture's face. And if you're familiar with the Noir universe, then you know that Adrian Toomes was part of the Freak Show, and he isn't what he is in the normal Spider-Man comics. Let's just say he has a taste for human meat. So Adrian Toomes is definitely a weird character in that universe, but there he is, and his look in the comic is, he kind of looks like he's just wearing a cloak, so that's why I gave him the little Kylo Ren cape, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But that's what he looks like for my Spider-Man Noir custom. Let me know if you're going to build this and if you're going to use it for a mock. Here are the parts required to build Kraven. You will need one black torso, or black tuxedo torso, and I have swapped out the arms for some black arms to make it look complete. You will need one pair of black legs, the Superman newest haircut, which you can see there. You'll need Kraven's head, which is in the Web Warrior Bridge Battle set, as well as in the Batmobile from the Dawn of Justice sets. But there's that, and it's a pretty common headpiece. You also need 2 light nougat hands, as well as a revolver. Now, Kraven in the Noir universe is a animal trainer for the Freak Show, and he actually has a pet monkey in the comics, as well as a pet snow tiger. And so he's a very cool character. I don't want to spoil what happens to him in the comic, but he was a very cool character. And so just put on the hairpiece, and that is what Kraven looks like, if I don't knock him over. So there we go. He just has the torso, or tuxedo, and yeah, pretty cool figure. And here is my Hammerhead custom minifigure. This uses the CMF gangster tuxedo and just a regular pair of black legs. Swapped out the hands for some light nougat ones, and I used the angry clone face as well as just this black hairpiece because it really does fit Hammerhead, as well as gave him these dual machine guns because he uses Tommy guns in the comic. So overall, he is a pretty cool character in the comic, and I'm glad to have a custom one. You may have seen him from building Oscorp, and that's because he doesn't look too different from the main universe and in the Noir universe. Here is my Sandman custom, and he appears in the second Spider-Man Noir graphic novel. He uses the Sandman head, which was in the Rhino and Sandman supervillain team-up set, as well as the hairpiece from that set. He uses a regular Lego City prison outfit, as well as the legs from some of the newer sets, and he uses one light nougat hand as well as one brick yellow hand. And you can see that I used the hammer from the Sandman and Rhino supervillain team-up set, and overall, very cool character. I'm glad with the design that I chose for him. The yellow isn't really that visible in real life, it's just easier since the camera's zoomed in, but that is Sandman. So here is Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Now in the Noir universe, Quentin Beck is a illusionist, and he traps Spider-Man and forces him into the show. So he uses a knife to fight Spider-Man, as well as a pair of handcuffs for the trick that he pulls on Spider-Man. And he does wear one of those white opera masks. Actually, it's gold in the comic, but I don't have one of those, and Lego doesn't really have one that would represent that well. So I just give him a normal face, and he also wears a green tuxedo in the comic, but Lego doesn't have a green tuxedo as far as I'm aware of. Maybe Riddler would have something close to that, but I just went with this normal tuxedo, which you can see there. And I swapped the hands for some light nougat ones, and just gave him a regular pair of legs, no printing on there. This face is commonly used in some of the Star Wars battle packs for like the Rebels or Resistance, and then this hairpiece is pretty common as well. So overall, I'm glad with the design that I chose for this figure, and yeah. So here is Dr. Octopus from the second graphic novel of the Noir series. Now, I don't want to focus on Doc Ock's history. too much because he is a very dark character in that comic. If you have read it for yourself, then you know what I'm talking about. But in the comic, he is crippled, so he does use a wheelchair, but I don't have that, so I do apologize for that. He just uses his normal torso. I gave him a pair of regular white legs, and his hair color is white, so I just gave him this white hairpiece, which I got from Quicksilver from the Age of Ultron line, because he does have some pretty long white hair, and then just uses normal robot arms, and he just keeps wanting to fall over. But that is Dr. Octopus. So here is my custom chameleon, who appears in the first Noir Spider-Man graphic novel. Now, I'm not too happy with this custom. Honestly, if I were to change anything, I would swap the Inquisitor's head for Voldemort's, because that actually looks a lot better, but I don't have that. And it just uses the same torso as Quentin Beck. Of course, I swapped the hands for some black hands, since he does wear gloves. And, of course, just no printed legs. And he has a silenced pistol as his accessory. So, not too happy with this figure, but it'll do. So here is my custom Noir Rhino figure. Now, Rhino hasn't appeared in a Noir version yet, so this is just kind of my idea of what I think he would look like. And so he is using the armor piece from the Ultra Agents line, as well as Shocker's gloves, for some metal gloves. And if I were to change anything, I would only wish that this had some horns, because the rest of it actually fits what I would want with a Noir Rhino. Now I can take this off and the head with it, but that just uses the Lex Luthor head. But there is the torso print underneath. That is Garmadon's henchman from the Ninjago movie. I forget their names, but I just swapped out the arms for some light nougat ones, and then the hands are just some black hands. And that's pretty much all that I changed on the torso, and that is the Rhino figure. Here is my Electro from the Noir Universe custom. Now, Electro hasn't appeared in the Noir Universe also, but my idea was maybe he was an electrician, which is what he normally is in the comics, and maybe he was working on some telephone poles or some electrical poles during a storm, and he got zapped by some lightning as well as the electricity from the pole that he's working on, and now he has his electric powers. At least that's how I would do it if I were the comic book writer. But you can see that he uses the electric pieces from a few of the sets. He hasn't appeared in any recently. But he uses a common city torso. I just swapped out the arms and hands for some light nougat ones, and I gave him some regular white legs. And the headpiece is Kylo Ren, which is a very common one from the older one, from the older version, where he doesn't have the scar, because I think that's what he would look like in the comic. And then I just gave him some dirty blonde hair. That's the hair color, because Electro has blonde hair in the normal comics, until, of course, he has his accident where he goes bald. So here is my custom Scorpion figure from the Noir Universe. This is another character who hasn't appeared in the Noir comics yet. I'm hoping that he does soon. But my idea is this would be around the time that they start working on the Captain America Super Soldier Serum. And so maybe this was a failed Super Soldier project, and now Scorpion has the appearance of a scorpion. And so this uses the legs and torso from the Galaxy Squad line from the Bugs. I just swapped out the hands for some dark green ones. Then I attached this little neck piece, which is from the Bat from one of the Minecraft sets. And then I attached this, which is from the Chima line, which is used for the scorpions as well as the spiders. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. I think he looks pretty cool. Here is my custom Hobgoblin figure. Hobgoblin is another character that hasn't appeared in the Noir universe, so this is, again, my idea on what I think he would look like. In the normal comics, he's kind of an assassin for hire, so that's what I kind of ran with. So he uses the torso and the hood from the Jawas, and he just uses a pair of dark brown legs, and he has, I'm not sure what that called, but it has a katana in the back. I got that from the Deadpool figure, and he has a pair of TNT for the explosions to replace the pumpkin bombs that he would have. So here is my custom Tombstone figure from the Noir universe. Again, another character that hasn't appeared in the comics yet. Again, this is my idea for what he'd be. I imagine him being maybe a train worker or a dock worker, and he was smuggling some stuff into the ships or trains that he was working at, and eventually a deal goes wrong, and he had a really bad accident, and now his appearance is very bad, so he wears some bandages around his head and kind of looks like a mummy, so that's why he's called Tombstone. And I just have this beanie on to cover the alternate face, but that's that. So the torso I used is from the City line, as well as the legs. I swapped out the hands for some dark gray ones. The head is from the Pharaoh's Quest line. I'm not sure how common it is or how much it would cost you to get it on Bricklink. And then he just uses the beanie from the Jurassic World line, which I bought a bunch of off of Bricks and Pieces because I just love that piece. And that's Tombstone. So that is Noir Spider-Man and all the rogues that I built from the comics, as well as some of my ideas for what some of them may look like. And overall, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I had a fun time making these customs, and let me know if you use any of the designs for the characters. I'd love to see if you use them in a mock or if you just build them for yourself. Feel free to let me know. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.